All right, everyone. I think we are live. Let me get going on this. I think the coloring is awful today. Got some blips. And it's going to get worse because we're going to go over to a white background here in a minute. Because I don't think we want to do that. No, that's worse. Here we are. And that's a little bit better. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with what we're actually going to be talking about today. So I've told you that I have been going through a program. Let's see. All right. Not everyone. That's not everyone. I'm live. Send. This is more of a blue background than a black background. Let's see if I can say that 5 times fast. Yeah, and we're going to look at some Visual Studio Code because there is a ton. There is a ton that I want to introduce everyone to. And I'm still figuring out a lot of this. A lot of it makes sense, but the new, well, it all makes sense, and the Python and the SQL is very easy for me to get. The nuance of working with Git and Snowflake, and I mean, we're even going to jump over to, am I going to have, we have a DBT server that we have access to. We have a Snowflake server that we have access to. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. And for those of you who are interested, I have an affiliate code that you can get 20% off the next boot camp that starts in January. So I don't know how many spaces are left. It is filling up very quickly. But if you are interested in that, I can send you that code, that link, and you will get 20% off on the next boot camp. So let me just kind of walk you through everything that Zach. So it's Zach Morris's company at dataexpert.io. I ran across Zach maybe 6 months ago, and I started following him on YouTube because I was intrigued about the data engineer, and I didn't even really understand. I don't even know if he was using the term data engineer then, but it was a video of how he took, I think, 5 or 10 terabytes of data and compressed it down to 1. And I was just mesmerized by all this. So let me just kind of walk you through all of the products that that Data Expert kind of has. Well, one, when you sign up, you're gonna, whatever courses you sign up for, you're gonna have a lot of assignments that goes along with it. So that's the one in January right there. I'm gonna try to get a heads up on it. But there's even a practice session. So this is, and you all have seen me do this, but here's Zach, and you've seen me working on some of the, and he's absolutely fine with the content being put out. Just you can't claim it as yours. But and so there have actually been folks streaming them taking the free boot camp and putting notes up and giving summaries and things like that. So I'm going to kind of give a high overview and the type of questions that you're able to. Yeah, here's Zach. He's a pretty cool guy. But yeah, and then, oh yeah, I stopped that program. So here's the Analytics Engineer Bootcamp that I'm finishing up now. and it's unbelievably organized, and it has and the schedule that you're going to have. Here you are. So this is the last week of this one, and then we're going to have a break, and then at the beginning of January, the data engineering bootcamp is going to start back up. So there's plenty of time to sign up, but let's kind of go over. But all right, so it covers Airflow and the setting up of everything. And I need to show you the repo. Repo. GitHub. There we go. And he was actually gracious enough to get me and place me inside his not that one. Actually want to show. He added me to, there we are, his handbook. I thought that was very gracious of him. So yeah, I'm actually in the handbook for resources. So I thought that was very, very, very interesting. Where is it? Oh. There we are. He added me to. I did a git push, and added Python basics to resources, and then he gave me the affiliate code to share with my audience if anyone is interested, and I can DM you that link. So let's kind of go over the things that are some very high level that Zach has really kind of helped me understand. Let's go. The slowly changing, is it this? Slowly changing data. Yeah, the fact modeling. Yeah, slowly changing databases. Let me pull this down and grab these slides. I think it's on the other. Yeah. So let's go ahead and pull this down. Here we are. I don't want to be in Edge. Don't know why I don't like Edge so much, but I just don't like Edge. Slowly changing. Copy. Close. There we are. So one of the things that I thought was, let's see, how was this sized up? We'll do this. One of the things that Zach was really pushing was about the slowly changing, and focused on the type 2, but there's 3 types. And yeah, like type 1 is that won't change, like your birthday. Care about, but the type 2 is an unbelievably, and I'm still really kind of wrapping my head around this, is like if you're at an address, or I think the example that I tried to work with, and you guys saw me that I was trying to get some homework done, was active and inactive basketball players. I think that's what you guys saw, or actors. And all of this is in. Let's see. Let me go back here. Queries. Yeah, and you can practice all these in the platform. He has unbelievable amounts of data that he has pulled, and you're able to then even log in and use like production software. So it is unbelievably worth the price. You have access to Airflow. you have access to Snowflake, you have access to Iceberg, you have access to DBT. So these are all of the things that are at your disposal, and it's not just for the length of the boot camp. It is for an entire year. So the boot camp runs a short amount of time. Yeah, like right here, he has this embedded, and you're then able to come in here and practice doing these assignments. So all right, let's go back. Where are we? I lost my train of thought. Today's kind of just more shooting from the hip. Oh, sorry. I picked the wrong slide. I'm over on DBT. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around DBT. But all right. So, like, I think I gave an example of like schools, but like players, active, inactive, actors, or customers in their address. So you'll have a customer, and they will be. There we go. Oh yeah, and then we just jumped into the workshop. So yeah, it's a very interesting design where he has a lecture of an hour, and then you jump into a lab, and then you'll have homework for that week, and it is very challenging because it is real world work. So let's go over and do like one of the assignments. Let's go. No. Questions. Yeah, we have a couple more days. All right, I did a few of these, so let's go ahead and do another one. I don't think we can change the background on this. All right, so we're going to have to put up with this one. All right. I've done 2 of them. So, all right, month with the highest total bursts. All right, determine the month with the highest total number of bursts in the playground.us. So, here's your table, and there's your schema. So, I think you've heard me use those terms before. I don't know if this light, that was a little red. All right. Okay, so it already filled in for us. So let's go ahead and look at the shape. I like to look at the shape and design just so I can see what in the world. And okay, so this table contains, and you can also see it here, but sometimes I just like to see the output. But here's the actual schema. Years int, month int, date of month is an int, date of week is an int. Okay, so this, if you've never seen this, bursts int. This, okay. You want to learn very, very quickly. Is it a Sunday to Saturday week, or is it a Monday to Sunday week? So day of the week, that's a question depending on who designed your schema, because those can go and change everything for you, because it would shift you off by a day. So I will tell you from experience, knowing what day of the week, and not all tables, here's another important thing. Not all people determine, even in an organization, you necessarily do not everyone agrees that the week begins on Sunday, because you have a calendar. If you think about it, typical calendar is Sunday to Saturday. But there are companies that everything revolves around Friday being the last day. So that would actually be Saturday through Friday. So, and again, if you have people around the world on different parts of the globe, they may have a different definition. So, all right. Okay, what we need to do, the output should be show the month and the total number of births. All right. Determine the month with the highest total number of births. All right. And then what the output should be is month and day. All right, so we need to go ahead and get started here. All right. Now let's see. I like to clean this up a little bit. That makes it more readable for me. Got my little space heater going today. Did I actually send that? I did. All right. And let me do that and that. There. All right. Boom, and it is, yeah. All right. That's not what I wanted. Let's go over here to boom. All right. So we need to get the months. So we need to compress. So if we begin to think about this, we need to find the month with the greatest. So not just the month, but the month inside the year, because you can have an issue with this. So let's kind of play around with this. So let's do year, month. Don't care about those two, and then some births as total births, group by 1 and 2. That's pretty lazy. So we're going to start here. All right. Order by total. This is where I get, and descending. This is where I get a little flaky on if this query works, because, okay, title. All right. So now, so what the high point is that I really begin. Venki, how are you? Good day to you. So if you're just jumping on, so I was hesitant to show too much of the content because of, I don't know, copyright stuff, but Zach has really opened all of this up to everything. So what I'm doing right now today is kind of highlighting the things that I've been working on over the past couple weeks. And it's Zach Morris, Zach Wilson's dataexpert.io, his company, his website, and it has some really unbelievable programs. The boot camp that I've been finishing up is the analytics engineer boot camp, and I'm not going to lie, it's extremely fast paced. But it covers a lot of material, and there are multiple lectures per week, multiple labs per week, tons of assignments, but the resources are absurdly large amounts. And if you have any interest in it, I have an affiliate code, and you can get 20% off the next boot camp that he has. So if anyone is interested in that, just let me know, and I'll DM you, and you can sign up. I don't know how many more spaces are left. When I signed up for it last week, I think there were only 22. So be aware, and that starts in January, and it's the end of November now. You can find his free boot camp. I don't know if you can still sign up for it, but he is. I ran across Zach maybe 6 months ago. Was watching. He's been at Facebook. He's been at Netflix, and he was also at, where was the one that he compressed all the data? Airbnb. That was probably the most interesting story that he saved. It was like something like 5 or 6 terabytes, and he was able to compress it down to 1 terabyte. So the compute cost, the savings on that was astronomical, because he was working with scheduling and bookings. And I mean, everybody is hitting those booking tables and that booking data. So I mean, it was just unbelievably high costs of expense for, and he was able to compress it down. Instead of, like, it was basically, the way I understood it was instead of each row for a day, he was able to get all the data into a compressed array all 365 days for a row. So basically, instead of 365 rows, it was 1 row per year, and it just saved unbelievable amounts of data. That was where it kind of changed my mind about arrays inside tables. And he talked about the storage, and he compared, and he walked through the storage expense comparison between the amount of data in the column compared to the sorting and running through each row. And I was like, oh, now I completely. So it was a very interesting technique. All right, so we're going to turn this into a CTE. Hang on a second. Sorry, I got a dysfunctional washer that it doesn't have. It has like a makeshift agitator, and it's very particular. So if you don't place everything in there exactly just right, it is going to throw a tantrum. So apologize for the coloring, because everything I set this up for was for the darker background. Alright. And I gotta work on some resume stuff today, because I gotta start. I don't know, I gotta change gears. But alright, so we're gonna, instead of a subquery, we're gonna do this with a CTE. Actually, do we even need to? Yeah, because we need to slide this off. Because if we don't have, so here's an interesting thing that, and I've been working on this, trying to explain this very well. So, and I know, and if you look really close here, if you were to exclude year, and I know exactly what was done. So when you add a group by and you add a column, I call it parsing it out. And if I were to remove year and remove the group by, we would compress, let's see, and actually, maybe, let's see, determine the month with the highest, and actually it may be, so we're actually going to try this. So now that I'm rereading this, and I guess I can interpret this, what is the month? What is the highest birth month? Now, see, when I see determine the month, so what month out of all of the months. So you could have August. So I'm gonna see this. And then this goes to 1. And then limit. I'm hoping it's not this. So we're gonna try it and we're gonna see. Okay. Oh. And we're supposed to output month and total bursts. Okay. Column at index 2 do not have the same value. Total bursts. And, and we're going to see. Change this. It could sometimes be as simple as that because it's looking for that name. Query failed or canceled. Oh, because this can't be resolved. All right, let's look at this again. Here we are. Okay. All right. So I was hoping that it wanted the actual, all right, submit. So this is 100% correct. And this is technically an easy one. So let's go ahead and do a medium. Let's go back. Close that one. Let's refresh. Yes, reload. It's actually a very, very user-friendly. Let's do a medium one. Salary range difference. This sounds awful, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, let's come over here. All right, calculate the difference between the sum of the highest salary and the sum of the lowest salary in the company. All right, playground schema, playground salary contains columns, unique ID. All right, so this is, I was unaware. I treated it with respect, but I was in a makeshift. I was in a kind of shotgun, rapid. It's the more that I hear these stories, is that it felt like I was more in a startup, little scrappy team than a large company because we had no defined roles. If it bled over and we did this, then I might get a project. So it goes back very interesting because we were more tech inside a very business focused segment of Walmart. But all right. So when I saw ID, I knew it was unique, but apparently this is a big deal to talk about. Setting up unique IDs, primary keys. Make sure referring to them as primary keys, very, very vital. All right, so let's go ahead and get through this. Contains unique ID, employee ID, name, employee's name, salary, employee's salary as a positive integer. The result should be a single column difference with one row representing the calculated difference. If the playground is empty, the difference should be 0. Ooh, okay. So there's going to be some missing data. So if the playground employee salary is empty, the difference should be 0. So that's an important caveat. All right. One. And again, I know the scheme is right here, but I sure do like seeing this. All right. This just gels better with my brain. All right. So the difference between, all right, so what are we supposed to do? Answer the difference. Your answer should include these columns. And we want to write the result. All right. Calculate the difference between the sum of the highest salary and the sum. Calculate the difference between the sum of the highest salaries and the sum of the lowest salaries in the company. Right. Yeah. But I guess, let me do 5, because I guess but there's something more here. The sum of the highest. Order by salary descending. Yeah, there's more. Okay. Yeah, let's see what the max and the min is. Okay, I see your point now. Group by. Okay, yeah. Group by. Group by 1 and 2. There we are. Okay. As highest as lowest. What do I want to see? Because it wants. I'm trying to determine if this is important or not. Some of the lowest. So I want to see something. Star. Actually, I don't want that. Where salary equals 900. Okay, there's one, and then Alex. It's a free web. I have to practice triggers and procedures. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So, all right. Let's see. Your answers should be these columns. Difference. So it's just. So there's only one individual with the lowest salary. What was the max? We had more than 13, right? 1,300? 1,300. star where salary equaled 1,300. Actually, I want to get rid of that just in case. It's 2. So, all right, calculate the difference between the sum of the highest salaries and the sum of the lowest salaries. So we need to compress because my brain is interpreting this as 2,600 minus 900. 2,600. So we combine these. With highest as sum salary where equal is equals select salary from feel like this is where a CTE I should be using better, but we're gonna start max select star from paste. Let's run this. Should have 2 rows, 1,300. Okay. That's not what I was expecting. Because I'm pulling the wrong stuff. There we go. That'll do it. Bingo. Highest. Let's fix this, make sure this is right. Okay. Lowest as select min salary as lowest from copy paste min. We're going to double check this. Double. Yep, I got a problem. Doom, boom. Do have a problem with names of my naming is awful. Hang on, I gotta make sure this isn't important. Okay. Don't want to say that wasn't important, but I just wanted to make sure I knew about it. Okay. All right. Mismatch. Input lowest. Got parentheses. Maybe putting this into Notepad++ and checking. Yeah, let's bring in Notepad++. New SQL. If you do not have Notepad++, I highly recommend. Good morning, Dax. Hope you're doing well. Just FYI, I know you're talking about data. The data camp. So the data boot camp, dataexpert.io. I have an affiliate code if you're interested in a January boot camp for data engineering. You can get 20% off if you use my code. I'm partnering with Zach Wilson on that, so I can pass that on to anyone who's interested. So all right, let's check and make sure that I have all of my parentheses in place, because it is acting. Oh, I don't have a comma. So very important when you have multiple CTEs is you have to distinguish. And also don't do what I do and always add a bunch of extra widths. There's one width. Then when you move on to the next CTE, just add a comma. All right, so we have the lowest. We have the highest. So now we can do this just kind of highest, lowest. So now we run these. Should be 2600 and 900. And what did I miss? Highest can't be resolved. Highest can't be resolved because I am not joining. There we are. Postgres, I get a little fuzzy around this if this works with commas and the join, because I just want to throw all that information in there. There we go. All right. So this is where you can do a join and bring in tables and bring in data without actually having a join. It's dangerous and you can get very easily lost. So you use caution. So now difference. So highest minus lowest as difference. That's what they wanted, right? Yep. All right, let's run this, because then we're just going to drop highest and lowest, and we're going to have yep, 1700. Now let's test this and see. See how we did. And boom. So does everyone see how I got that answer? I feel like that's not right. There. That's better. That's a lot better. Add a little touch of yellow in this light right here. I think I need one more over here. All right, so does everyone see how I did this? So, and it was the sum of it literally. So I thought that was an interesting question, but you're going to get asked if you deal, Dax can speak to this, if you're going to deal with data and you're going to deal with stakeholders, you're going to get asked. Sorry, I'm messing with my heater. I know if it's a little chilly where I am, Zach, or Dax, I know it's chilly where you are. It was 44 when I got 41 when I got up this morning. So a little cool down here. Facebook. Did I tell you all that Facebook has figured out I have a sound amplifier and it hacks it and it turns up the volume? Sends me so I get 2 notifications. It's really interesting. Don't know why it's 2, but I'll get the first one. It'll do normal. Then the second one will spike up with the louder amplified volume, and then it will turn itself back down. I'm like, that's kind of very impressive. So, all right, let's kind of go through. I'm not even over on chat. Make sure I'm not missing something. All right, let's kind of go through what I did here. So I found the highest. I summed it. And what I did, this is an interesting technique right here. So what I did is I'm filtering on the max. So I'm literally, if you look really, really, really close, I'm pulling the max salary, just the max number, and I'm putting that beside a where clause. If the table is empty, does it return 0 instead of null? Oh, good question. If the table is empty, oh yeah, that was actually one of the constraints, right? If the table is empty, difference should be 0, and we can handle that. So let's actually do that. There were so many things that I learned just over the past month. I used to do. I gotta pull it up because I've already forgotten. Coalesce and SQL. So this is a very interesting function. So let's talk about this. And I had not ever seen this. So coalesce is an interesting technique where if something is null, then you give it you tell it what it should do. So all right, and also the thing about null, if you have either of them as null, and if null function, it does. You don't even have to get that fancy. Let me show you right here. So let's hard code this as null. This will return null. All right. So here's a very interesting thing. No. It isn't even that. It isn't even that much. So all right. So I hard coded one of them as null. So instead of returning 0, null is null. So it's basically anything times anything into null is null. Anything from null is null. And it's just like, what do you want me to do with this? So all right. I cannot spell coalesce. I have to do this. We're just gonna copy coalesce. That's not what I wanted. Coalesce. Let me see if this is. Haven't worked with this. This is my first gut. We may have to do some parentheses. There we go. So this is what's so cool about this. Basically, this goes, hey, if this is null, do this. So we just flipped this around very, very quickly. What was this? This was min, right? Min salary. And then it just works like normal. And I'm obsessed with that because when you're using future and past data, especially for a type 2 slowly changing dimension, So what you're gonna do is whatever your date range is, and I don't know if we're gonna have one of these. I think I did it as an example when we were walking through it. Um, but yeah, if anyone is interested in really learning from somebody who's I would say that one of the main experts in the field, it would go and check out dataexpert.io and just see, because it's an unbelievable platform, and there's just so much. Like I said, I've followed Zach for probably 6 months. The first time I saw him, I saw some of his YouTube videos, and I started. I followed him on LinkedIn, and he's got a very interesting journey. He's a young person, for me, a young person. For a lot of you, he'll be old. But I think he's just 30 or 31, and he's already had a very successful career. He was working at, I think, Facebook at like 21 or 22, and was a big deal there. But Netflix, Airbnb, and the things that he had learned and is sharing with us, his audience, and his the content that he creates. I mean, to just come up with something, and this may seem wacky, but I promise you, I mean, Dax will be able to speak to this. You're going to have some business partner that's going to have some weird use case that's going to need to know this. And you're going to have to do something like this and have something. There isn't anything weird. Nothing about this is weird. I was getting requests like this all the day. Just hey, can you tell me, is there a supplier? Because we'd have all sorts of weird stuff. We'd have suppliers that were always just trying to. There were some that were honestly making mistakes and wanted to do better, and then there were others that just wanted to gain the system. There was one at the warehouse, and I won't say their name, but they would have their routers get up early to get the best times, but then would show up late, but it was such vital product that we would have to take them whenever they got there. So now there are consequences for that, and there are fines and fees, but we had to track and see who was doing what behavior, who was out of compliance, who was calling and scheduling early appointments, and just the amount of data. And you have these questions that your business partners have, and you have to sift through all of the data. Like, this weird question may seem so weird if you've never had a business partner that needs some really weird answers. This seems completely normal to me. And I mean, did not bat an eye. So this one was considered medium. Let's go ahead and try a hard one. I still think in real world, now also compared to the work and the homework you get from Zach, I still think this is an easy one, because I got challenged. Like the slowly changing dimensions. Let me show you the last bits of homework. Let's come over here. No, it's going to be a different boot camp. I can show you. This is one of the homework queries. This is just one of them. And see, because then you're not only creating, then you're writing to a table, and you had to come up with a sequence. Are they a new player? Are they continued playing? Are they retired? Are they staying retired? Or did they return from retirement? Woo-hoo-hoo! I want you to just kind of think on that for a second. And also then adding to an array. This took a minute for me to find the syntax of this. Let me see what's going on. Let me see. You got a good 1 and 3. I think got it. My wife's got a delivery. Okay. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Facebook is sending me a billion requests. And I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn too. All right, so let's kind of go through this. So, oh yeah, here's where my first real experience was with the Coalesce and how you were handling it. So to give you an idea, you would be taking in. So you have all of this data, and it's like, here's their records from this season. And you would need to parse it and go and look at this season and last season. And you would be saying, okay, are they active? If they're active, then we add them. Now, if they're absent, this is where it would get interesting. And this is the challenge of SQL, is that when they're absent, what does that mean? How do you handle it when they're absent? So were they present? Are they currently present in the table and they're absent? Or because you have to handle, and so you need to compare to, and that's where you have to wrap your head around joins, and they can be very, very challenging. You're like, all right, I'm going to join this on, here we go. Let's find this. Yeah. So I've made a last, and you're joining it on player names. Well, you have last season and this season. Full outer join. And typically the full outer join. So kind of, there's not very many hard and fast rules in SQL, but slowly changing dimensional tables, full outer join, because you're comparing whatever old records with new records. And you're tracking the first time seeing it, or we know about it and now it's absent. So then it goes into a different scenario. So if we have seen it but it's absent, that means something has changed. So it's like a player or an actor or a customer. So hey, we saw them last year, but we don't see them this year. And we want to make a big deal about this. Okay, so now we have an inactive, and that's when we go, hey, especially if it's a customer, hey, we had this person last year, and they were here a lot last year. Now, all of a sudden, they're not here this year. Then you need to start making a business decision. Okay, what happened? Did they move? Did something happen? Did we do something wrong? And those are those questions. So slowly, I'm now very obsessed with slowly changing dimensional databases. Fact tables, I'm not so comfortable talking about, but that's covered. Database design, all of these things are so very cool. So all right, what was it? Oh yeah, and then creating a this array is so cool. So all right. So basically, in that, was it this? Let's pull this in here so I can show it to you. This is such a cool table. So let's look at this for a second. This was very challenging for me to do. This right here, this is so cool. And it's pulling from this array. So each row is a year, is a season. Now, inside of this row, you have the player's name. Are they active? What is their first season active? What is their most recent season? And their last known. All right, so what does that mean? Last known was basically, what were they doing last year? What were they doing last year? So that's null, so that means they're new. Now, also, let's look at this right here. Let's look at, because this is so cool. So are they active? David Wesley. So their first active season was 1996. 1990, we can't highlight. There we go. Then their most recent, that's this current year. And then what were they doing last year? So as this, and here's the most current season. So every time we were going through this, if they were active, we appended them to this season array. Now, I would have done this in so many. Now that I know how to build slowly changing dimensional tables, I would have changed probably about 4 or 5 tables that I built when I was at Walmart on the back end for our app, that the 2 apps that I was involved in. We would have been able to clean up a lot of issues. So adding an array of tracking is so powerful. So then also and you would save a lot of work. I would have saved a tremendous amount of work for the front-end developer on so many things. So now, check this out. So now the season that it is now, 1997, this Brett Szabo, I think I actually know that. I was finishing up high school. So their first active year was 1996. Their most recent active year was 96. Their last known was 96, and they are currently retired because it's 1997. And then if we would have had another one for 98, it would have been stayed retired. And then this gap, because Zach and I think he likes Jordan. He refers to Jordan a lot. And I was a big fan of Jordan growing up. I think everybody was. But this was an interesting data set because you had to track them continuing playing, retired, staying retired, and then return from retirement. Because you wouldn't track them as new, because they weren't new, but they also weren't in last year. They weren't active last year. So I came up with a very compressed way. I saw a lot of people try this in the Discord server, and they had some craziness. But if you just go through and you think about it, if they were not active last year and active this year, they're new. If they were inactive, if they were active last year, active this year, they continued playing. If they were inactive this year, but active last year, then they retired. And then if it was this, basically, it's called a change state. So basically, you had to have a trigger for if something changed. And it was just mind-blowing how many things. Some of these things I was doing and didn't know the importance of them, and then there were others I was doing it in an awful way, and I was like, man, I wish I knew about how to do this. And then especially also like this right here, add element. Oh yeah. So add element, that is pulling from an array inside of SQL. All right. So now let's talk about using their GitHub and what in the world. So there is so much data that that they're sharing, that Zach is sharing and has created for you in the GitHub server that you can go and download, and you're going to practice, and you're going to have to get good at cloning. You're going to have to get good at and he sets you up with Docker. So it is so worth the money, because I have gaps in my technology, but I'm filling in them with the resources from this boot camp. Docker, he pays for Docker for you to use. Let's see, why isn't Docker running? I need to kill it. Hang on. And then I'll restart it. Task manager. Went through this last time. Docker's running somewhere. Background. Yep, Docker. Docker. Yep. All right. Okay. Now let's see if I can get Docker to run. I might have missed some. But yeah, Docker, Iceberg, Airflow, Snowflake, DBT. All of these platforms you're going to have access to by signing up for this. So whatever gap, you're going to have a gap somewhere, and I highly recommend you checking it out. And it's yeah. And then you get access to the Discord community. It's just everything. I just highly, highly, highly recommend. So, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can do a hard one and make our brains melt today. Let's close this one because we got. Did we get the medium? Did I hit refresh? I didn't hit refresh. Let's go ahead and hit refresh. All right. Wait a minute, I didn't get a check mark for my salary difference? Did I honestly not? Did I not hit submit? Feel like I hit submit. Did y'all see me hit submit? Well, there we go. All right. Let's pick a hard one. Medium calculations. All right. Using table search frequency with each row representing the number of searches column made by certain number of users, user column, write a SQL query to calculate the median number of searches per user to one decimal place. Important. And be sure to cast it as a double. Super important. All right. So now this is, I see where is so formatting, because you're going to have stakeholders and business partners going, this isn't right. What do you mean it's not right? I got 2.7. You got 2.68. It's wrong. I'm like, okay, so you need it rounded? Well, yeah, it's just wrong. So you'll get some business partners who are super easy to work with and very understanding. Hey, can you round this? Yeah, I can round it. All right. And 10. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. All right. Searches number. Okay. Searches int. Ooh, this is number of users. Searches number of users. What is? All right, using the table with each row now, which each row represents the number of searches. searches column, made by a certain number of users, user column, write a SQL query to calculate the median number of searches per user. All right. So search 1. All right. So 2. So 2 users use search 1. 2 users use search 2. 3 users use search 3. 1 user use search 4. All right. You write a query that calculates the number of median. See, I get stuck on median, average, mean, median. Let's make sure we're not heading down the wrong direction in median. Median, is that... Whoa, you would not believe the word that I just typed for median. Median, not median. Median. Midpoint, right? I already donated. Hide appeals for a week, back to appeal. Thank you for... I donated last month. Oh, I'm on a different hard drive. That's why it doesn't think I donated. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The median is the midpoint, not the average. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to have an issue with the median, but we need to get this at least working. All right, any questions in chat? Okay. All right. Calculate the median number of searches per users. Median number. So you can have, and then I've dealt with this before. So you could have, so you don't know. So a user could hit all searches. All right, so let's. I want to know how many rows are here. I like to start here. Kind of I start here when I really don't know anything about it. Wait a minute, what? There's 4. There are only 4 rows. Wait a minute, what? There's really only 4 rows. Okay, so that's why. All right. So per user. So Venky, if you're still here, I feel like this is very mathy. All right. I did not even notice that we did limit 10 and we got 4 rows. Calculate the median number. So the median number is 2.5, right? But then per user, and there are 4 searches. But we don't know how many users there are. Because we could technically have... We could technically have 4... We don't know. We can assume, but an assumption is bad. An assumption is very, very bad. How long have we been on? Let's check that. Hour and 16. All right, we'll finish up with this one, and then I'm going to keep moving. It's a little after 9 here. All right. Because if I understand median, we put that on a number row. We have 1, 2, 2, 3. And my watch is yelling at me to get up. Then the midpoint between, let me reread that. Is a set of numbers values separated by separating the higher half from the lower half of sample data. Ooh, my arm is really sore. I got banged up pretty good at jiu-jitsu on Tuesday. My elbow got wrenched pretty good. All right. Any good questions in median is simple middle value of count divided by 2 equals 1. All right. So would the median of this be 2.5? Because I'll show you what I saw here. I'll bring over dark. I'll show you what I was looking at. I'll put it right here. So we had this example of median. We had these 3, median 6, and then these 8? Yeah, these 8, 4.5. So then what goes to me is we have 1, 2, 2, 3. So the midpoint would be in between. Oh, no, wait a second. So it would be. Oh, we didn't finish this one. Okay, because I wanted to talk. We got to do that tomorrow. No, I can't do it tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to live stream tomorrow. We got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Brush. So 1, 2, 2, 3. That's not a 3. That's a gobbledygook. So it'd be halfway. So is it 2? Because there's no in between. Let's see. It's calculated as the average between 2 middle values. Okay. So it's 2. So now we got to write that. All right. Oh, now I see what we got to do, because we got to sort. Is there a median in SQL? Just curious. Nope, that's average. There is actually an average in SQL. Maybe not. I could have sworn there was an average. Well, now I want to run that. Okay. Thought there was something. I thought I saw something on. Yep. 2 plus 2 divided by 2. All right. So the average is 2. But I don't feel like it's 2. Because there's no sample data larger than this. Or is it just a cast as, because as double. Okay, so cast as double, round as median. Mismatch. Search frequency. Where? Average number as float. Huh. I want to cast that. Postgres. Cast to double Postgres. Why is this not? How do I cast a integer? Maybe it doesn't like this. Let's go back to double. Helps if you spell double right. There we go. As median cast average user. Let's try something. Well, one, let's see if this is right. Because we're going to get this output. And I need that to be... Okay, it doesn't like that. Oh, as. Not commas. As. There we go. It's the only bad thing for me about going back and forth between sequels and... Okay, this isn't doing... That should be a decimal. Value should be 2.5, but value is 2. 2.5. How is that supposed to be 2.5? Because our midpoints are 2, 2 and 2. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, what? All right. I know when I get to this point, my math gets a little fuzzy. But that's 1, 2, 2, and 3. How in the world would that be 2.5? Our midpoint. Because our midpoint is halfway between 2 and 2. Or is it midpoint here? And I'm misunderstanding this. Number of searches. Number of searches. Went the wrong way. That would be 2.5. Didn't feel like that. All right. Okay. Well, that's that. We'll refresh this. Maybe we can do, and we need to finish that problem up tomorrow with our sliding window, which is, well, no, we can't do that. We'll have to do that Saturday because, like I said, I won't be. I've almost thought about doing live streams at night to see how things go, because I think later in the day, I think my viewers are on now, but I wonder if I'd get more live stream viewers. So let's see, hang on. A great day. Boom. Let's check. Boom, bitty, boom, bitty, boom, boom, boom. All right. Anything pressing? But I highly recommend if you're able to do it, and you'd get 20% off. It is a little pricey, just sticker shock, just so you can be prepared. But you can get 20 if you are interested. Just reach out to me, and I'll send you an affiliate code for the dataexpert.io, and I just highly recommend it. And you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get something out of it. And not just that, but have access to real life production world tools for a year. When I learned that we could have it for a year, and how much, I mean, it's crazy the amount of like, you could not even come close to that cost if you were going to try to set up a Snowflake account or a Docker account. Yeah, it's crazy cuckoo bananas. So all right, so we'll wrap up today. Hour and a half. Pretty cool. Hope everybody got something out of this. Yeah, I mean, just to show you what's the homework that I've been doing. Yeah, to run Astronomer on your machine, I have no idea how much that is. Astronomer's Airflow, the amount of problem solving and experience that you're going to get, because you're going to run into some problems and you're going to have to troubleshoot and go through and make it work, and that you're going to spend more time your real life getting things to connect and talk to each other and get access. If it's anything like Walmart, you're going to spend so much more time just trying to get access to get things to talk to each other. And then once you actually get things to work, you're going to be like, oh my God, this was so simple. The DBT requirements, Snowflake, Core, Cloud, what's the profile? What is it? Yeah, so no, what am I? Is it this tests? No. We're building the staging. Yeah, so I mean, building these YAML files, and then building these tests and writing these SQL queries to then be ingested into Snowflake, and creating all of these tables for ingestion. And yeah, it just boggles my mind of the amount of resources that Zach has done for us in relationship to the information that he is sharing. So just think about it, because look, we're learning about staging, and then moving into production, and then just all of the processes that you end up doing. I think I shared a few of the queries. Yeah, I can show them because they're all from this year. But yeah, you have to take field goals and then go in and yeah, like right here, there was this crazy table that we had to create, and I'm trying to think of what type it was called. It was a way to compress all of them all into one. I'll need to go back and research. I'm happy to hear you found your data team. Oh yeah. So it's an interesting group. Let's see. Oh yeah, because then this table you had to go through, and you had home teams, visiting teams, and then go through and see who was making. Yeah. So it was here, and then it was a very interesting and powerful technique of grouping. So it was a compressed way, instead of like this right here, grouping sets. Never heard about it, but it was faster and easier and more elegant than doing a bunch of union alls because it was just unbelievably powerful for there. And then let's see. Yeah, so it was overall. Oh, and if you don't know, not equal to. So in SQL, the chevrons open to each other. So in Python, we had the not equal to exclamation point equal. In SQL, it's chevrons facing each other. All right. And that was that one that I was moving back and forth. But yeah, I'm pretty much set up on this entire hard drive. If you have any interest in the data camp, just reach out and I'll send you an affiliate code and you can save 20% on the boot camp. I highly recommend it. If you're like me, it will be overwhelming, but I want you to think about it. You'll have access to the hardware for a year. And that has just been an unbelievable value for me because I've been playing around with that, writing and pulling and updating and backfilling, all the things. So if I get an interview, I'll be able to speak to all of these things because technology is going to change, but you at least want to play by the rules and be able to speak to it. If you can write queries like this, you can learn a new platform. But these queries are the backbone of it. So you need to be able to write a query like this. I can't emphasize that enough. So all right, we got folks dropping out. So we're gonna wrap up for today. Thank you as always for coming to join and hang out. And as always, please make sure you're joining the Discord server down below. And getting all the help that you need and deserve, and put any comments down there, video requests. Hey, I don't get how to do this. Why does this work like this? If I can't answer, somebody in the on the server will answer. We have some very, very qualified individuals, and we have a very large, wide base, and we have people spread around the globe. So somebody is always on. If you join and look, there's always a green dot when you're on. I used to have a very fluid schedule, and I'd be up around the clock throughout the week, and somebody on the server would always be there. So please make sure you're doing that so you're not on this journey alone, because that's probably the roughest piece is when you're by yourself and you're like, why isn't this working? So you always want to be able to, and sometimes just walking through, the person may not even need to know what it is. You saying it out loud, and you're like, oh, never mind, got it. And you're like, cool. Like this right here. I reached out to somebody on my study group team, and I was like, hey, don't give me the answer here, but let me just think out loud. And I was missing the not. And because this was a false, so I needed it not to be false for it to happen. I was really close, but whenever I'm doing these, it's usually I'm off one way or the other because I hate false, and what's so funny is now that's all I do is live in true and false world. So all right, there we go, everybody. That's the last little speech for today. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and if it's at the end of the day, hope you have a good night, and I will see everyone in 2 days. Not tomorrow, but the following day. Not going to be able to be on tomorrow. Have some family stuff got to take care of. But thank you, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.